Nixon Fowler Stadium is location 1. We are getting ready for another exciting season on the Community Radio Network since 2018, the flagship voice of Clayton Comets athletics. We were on the radio yesterday with coverage of Comets volleyball for the ladies, but we are excited, as you know, when the fall arrives, Friday Night Lights. Welcome to the 50-yard line on the home sideline of the turf field in beautiful Seatown. As always, I'm Wesley Outland, the voice of the Clayton Comets. Joined alongside is the coach, Coach Scott Chadwick. 25 years. A silver anniversary, man. Congratulations, Coach.
Just proves I'm kind of old now.
Where did time go?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, 25th year as a head coach. Kind of hard to believe.
So you've been coaching 25 years, and January of 2026 will be my 30th year as a sports broadcaster personality. So we've been in the racket a long time, ain't we?
We're both old.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, obviously another season upon us. How excited is it to get ready to put all the work from last season, going to the second round of the playoffs, and going to the third round your first year, ready for the third time's a charm, right? The third season head coach and ready to get this team ready to go here for Friday Night Lights.
It's actually my 4th year, so we don't want to gyp those guys that were here that first year.
Yes,
but
4.
No, really excited, anxious to kind of get to the point and get some games going on. That's the thing. The off season's long. We started our off season really in February. The guys in the weight room. You do some of your spring skill development, then you have spring practice, then you have summer workouts. We've been in preseason practices since July 30th. We've now kind of started into game preparation now. We're working on getting ready to play a game next Friday, and anxious for it to get here. It's a long off season to all get ready for that first game, and I think our guys are going to be really excited to kick it off here at home, to have that opportunity to play here on next Friday night in front of our home crowd is something I know everybody's looking forward to.
Yeah, 'cause let's be honest, the last couple of years, the season is on the road. Normally we're traveling, so it's a nice way to come right out of the gate with your first game of the season being against the Wilson Preparatory team. We're in the new classification, the 7A. How is you and the coaching staff and the players adapted? I mean, is it kind of just the same, steer the ship the way it needs to be to just prepare for the games that you got to play?
It is, and the conference changed a little bit. We lose Corinth and Willow Spring and pick up Triple S, but for us, it's we've never been a look at the whole, season. We've always looked at what's in front of us, and most of our focus right now is on that first game with Wilson Prep, and I think the biggest thing with the conference was, we had to find an extra non-conference game because we lost one team in the conference, so we had to pick up an extra non-conference. And then also, you didn't know where your bye week was going to come. Last year, you kind of knew everybody had the same bye week. Now the bye weeks are kind of scattered about. So, we got kind of a late bye week, which is a little bit different. But for us right now, we play a team week 1 that, was in the 1A Eastern Regional Final last year. So, we're going to find out right off the bat, where we are.
I'll tell you what, I watched some of the jamboree that we had here on the turf with Athens Drive and Eastern Wayne last Friday. Can you really take anything from the jamboree, though, from the scrimmage? I mean, it's really not per se a football game. That's why we really didn't broadcast them this year.
No. I mean, I think you can take a little bit from it. I think for us, we look at those things. I told the kids all the time, it's execute and evaluate. We want to see, can we execute our base offensive and defensive stuff, and then we need to evaluate some people. Obviously, we played a ton of guys on both sides of the ball, so we could, evaluate some people. Obviously wanted to see again if we could execute some of our base stuff, but that was a very, very vanilla offensive and defensive game plans for those. We didn't really throw a whole lot out there. So I don't know that you can put a whole lot of stock in it. But I think, we saw what we needed to see.
Now, this is the Clayton Comets Football Preview 2025 with the head coach of his fourth year. We've been doing this for so long, we might miss a year or two. Coach Scott Chadwick is here with me as well, and obviously ready for the season. What's changed and what's been the same since 4 years ago when you kind of threw into this position, and now you kind of like everybody's watching what Chadwick is doing now?
Yeah, and I always go back to that first year when I got here in June. I got here so late that
the day before graduation.
Yeah, and so really you're trying to just install X's and O's at that point and get ready for a game. Didn't really have much time to build actual culture and build the program the way I wanted it. And now this is kind of the third off season we've had to do that. So I really think we've very much cemented the kind of program we want to have, the culture we want to have. I feel like I've certainly built and established some roots here in the community, with the town and our business people. So I think I wouldn't say that's changed, but I think that's certainly been cemented and more each year. From a football standpoint, what's changed? Every year you lose good football players. And we lost some good ones. And that's, it's going to happen every year. What's the same? We bring back a lot of really good football players.
Right.
You bring back, your leading rushers on offense. You bring back your quarterback. We bring back 4 starters on the offensive line. Bring back your tight end. Defensively,
is it starting all over though? Like,
no,
even though you're
all.
bringing back some of your talent, you got to also adapt with the new ones, right? So that they adapt to what works before.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call that starting over. I think you just plug those guys in and you just roll from where you are. And fortunately, when you look at where we are defensively, you've got obviously pieces there. I think our secondary. We bring almost everybody except Cody Larkins back in our secondary. Got a pretty good guy up on the defensive line, and Keyshawn Stansel that's back.
Yeah.
So you take what you have, you build around those pieces, and obviously you have to develop. And I think that's where our program of developing guys from the time they get here, the work that Coach Walker does, with them in our strength program.
Yeah.
The work that all of our coaches do with these guys in skill development, in spring practice, and summer ball. All of that really comes into play. And, we've got some young guys that have been in the program that are going to have to take bigger roles this year.
Definitely. And obviously the season kicks off right here on the turf at Nixon Fowler Stadium coming up next Friday night, Wilson Preparatory. And then the following week, a game that I was talking with some buddies of mine at County Line Raceway, Elm City Country. Looking forward to this one. The Nash game's going to be a fun one. Southern Nash.
And again, another team that won, I think, 9 games last year.
Yeah.
I think you can always expect, again, a team that's going to win 8, 9, 10 games every year. So, yeah, we're going to be challenged those first 2 weeks. And then week 3, we go to Hoggard, who 2 years ago was in the 4A state championship game. So
that's a long haul, though, isn't it?
So we've got –
hopefully Comet Country will travel all the way to the Crystal Carolina coast.
We've got 3 ones to start the season off there that – we're going to know right where we are, after that first 3 weeks.
And another one that I know Jackie is looking forward to. She's on the video camera behind the lens, and that is West Johnston and Clayton. They've not played each other in football since the COVID year of 2020. So that is a renewal, 5 years in the making, and she is an alumni of West Johnston. So we're looking forward to that game.
Looking forward to that too, just because I think it's good to play the local rivalries and play the local teams. And that's why it was really disappointing when Corinth basically wouldn't play us this year. I think that's a good local rivalry, and because they're not in our conference, we'd had to play them in non-conference. And,
Sure.
They just didn't want to make room for us. So I think it's great that West Johnston did, and that we have that opportunity to have that local rivalry with them.
Coach, obviously, our football preview show continues on as we get your thoughts and preview the upcoming season. Wilson Preparatory again right here at Clayton next Friday night, and of course a full season. JV doesn't start until I think it's Southern Nash, right?
Yeah,
and that'll
be
their game.
Week. They don't play the first.
Yeah, so
and actually that game is on a Wednesday night.
Yes,
because,
sir. Yeah.
East Carolina and NC State play Thursday night.
Yes,
so
yeah. Will you be there for that?
A lot of people that wanted to make sure they were at that game.
I'm sure Kim Winslow and Blake Robertson, part of our CRN crew, will want to be at Carter Finley Stadium for that one as well. Let's go back to some of the players. You mentioned Keyshawn Stansel on the defense program. We got to mention Aiden Smalls, the senior this year. He was committed to Rice University. He announced right before, obviously, before officially tackling and going into the official football training of getting ready for the season, that now he's going to NC State. He's going to be in Raleigh with the Wolfpack, and I know there was a big buzz about that, but amongst all of this commitment to go into these colleges, where's the focus at of keeping Aiden Smalls on track for what he has to do with Clayton this year?
I mean, I think his focus is here. I think he is very focused on helping us, win championships.
Right,
I think
right.
That is definitely his focus, and I think it's the same for Keyshawn as well. I think those guys want to leave their legacy here at Clayton before they, move on to something else. So I'm not worried one bit about where their focus is and where their commitment level is. I'm very comfortable with
sure
what they're going to do this year and how they're going to lead us and help us win a lot of games.
Are we going to see a different quarterback out of Aiden Smalls, or is it kind of he been doing the same thing that he worked on from last year that everybody loved in his junior year, made him Conference Player of the Year as well in the Greater News?
I think you're gonna see the same guy. I mean, we're gonna continue to take advantage of his skill set, his athletic abilities, his ability to throw the ball. That's why he was a FBS, a Division I recruited quarterback.
That's right.
Because he can do both. And I think the difference between this year and where we were at this time last year was, at this time last year we had no other options, besides Aiden. This year with Carson Jones, we've got legitimate options there at quarterback, besides Aiden. So I think it'll probably allow him to play a little bit freer, knowing that we do have Carson there as well.
And looking to see what Carson Jones can do as well. We've seen him on the JV level. He played a couple of games on varsity last year. And I remember telling Bennett and other people this as well. Carson Jones as the quarterback is a different quarterback that you get with Aiden Smalls. And I think that's what could be a joker wild card for teams that we play this year. What do you think?
No doubt. I mean, they are different, and it does cause – for the teams that we're playing, it definitely causes a different level of preparation.
Sure, definitely. Listen, we're getting ready for another season. Another thing that we love covering is Comets Football Weekly. That's when me and you put on the headsets and do the radio show at Vincent's Pub and Eatery. I know they're on board for another year. That will be our third year of Comets Football Weekly. That will actually ironically begin next Tuesday night after we do our Comets Football preview show here this Tuesday evening. But, man, what's your take of the town growing around Clayton? There was a time where there might have been a little absence there.
Right.
The right coaches might not have been in place. Maybe there wasn't the things that was going on where there's like a buzz now. You want to be here for Friday Night Lights in Clayton. And obviously the town, Vincent's Pub and Eatery, the media has really embraced on it for sure.
Yeah, I think when you go back to what has changed or what has grown over the 4 years here, that has certainly grown. The support that we get from the town, whether it's just being here on Friday night, whether it's the business community stepping up and giving us resources to help us. Listen, it takes resources to put on a winning program.
It really does. That's right. Yes. Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's just a fact. So by them contributing there, it's helped us build the kind of program we want. But like you said, just kind of the buzz around town when, the kids were out the other day doing some media day shoots around town and just kind of the excitement for football that there is in the town. That I wouldn't say it wasn't there my first year, but it certainly wasn't anywhere near at the level that it is now.
Sure.
And that's, that's exciting. And I think also part of that is again, now that I've been here, 3 or 4 years, I've been able to help build that and help build some relationships with some of the people in the community. And, I say it all the time, in my opinion, some of the most powerful people here in Johnston County are in Clayton.
Yeah.
And those people are big supporters of Clayton football. You got River Wild over here with Reed Smith and Ed Aldridge. Butch Lauder, who's the, head of the county commissioners, is here every Friday night. Our town council is very supportive. So
T.R. Lee, I mean, the coaches'
exactly.
uniforms,
Hubert up there is, he'll be right there at midfield every Friday. So we've got some
the C-man in the grandstands. I mean,
we've got really important people in this town and in this county who love Clayton football, and I think that says a lot about where our program is.
I remember when you first got here, we jokingly said at a Christmas party with you and your wife, Beth, you said, she told me this is it. Like, we're not going nowhere else. Do you feel like you're finally at home in Clayton with Clayton football? Do you feel like this is where you want to just stay here till you step away?
I keep telling everybody, I put a pool in my backyard. So, you don't put pools in your backyard to sell your house.
That's right. That's right. Yes. You're here for the long haul. Everybody, he's here for the long haul.
I live 5 blocks from my brother and my nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
So I've got family here. My wife's sister's here. So yeah, we're very, very happy here, and again, with what happens here in this town and in this school, I'm very, very happy. There's some other things that I'd like to help get straightened out a little bit, but when it comes to this town and it comes to this school, this is a great place to be, and I love going to work every day.
I got to say this. Halloween night is going to be a spooktacular in Clayton. Last game of the regular season. You've got, I think it's your the second week of October is your bye week, and then you got 2 more conference games with Fuquay-Varina, or it might be Garner, and then Cleveland, right. And those are big games. But definitely the creme de la creme is the JoCo rival between Cleveland and Clayton. And I remember literally you being right here in this position, looking that way, with the clock expiring, and literally the jubilation, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat that fast. Halloween night's going to be special between Cleveland and Clayton here at Clayton.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of very early trick-or-treating done this year. I think there'll be some trick-or-treating done right after school probably, so
sure.
People can get here, and because obviously we know people will be here early that night, so whatever the town does that trunk or treat thing, and they better start that pretty early this year.
Yeah, for sure. Coach, 25 years. I mean, what's the memories of what you've done? I mean,
oh wow. I was the first day of practice, and I was leaving the house, and I told Beth, this is my 25th year as a head coach, and even she was like, "Really?
Has it been that long?"
And somehow we've made it. 25 years with me being a head coach. It'd be impossible to sit here and talk, but, I go back to having the opportunity to, coach in my hometown, early in my career. My first head coaching job, I remember, I went 1-9 my first year as a head coach, and the one game we won was on a Hail Mary, so I was really close to being 0-10 my first year as a head coach, and so that's kind of crazy to think about, and to having the opportunity to coach my sons, to going to Myers Park and building that program into a nationally ranked team. I would say I think the biggest thrill for me is that when I was at Bowie, when I was at Lackey, when I was at Myers Park, 3 schools that had very little success before I got there. So to have the opportunity to kind of build and change those programs into, places where we won state championships, played for state championships, won conference championships.
Sure.
Those were some big thrills. And then at Marvin was a brand new school. Marvin Ridge was a brand new school. And being there and having the chance to coach my sons, those are those are a lot of great memories, and but some of my fondest memories have been here too. And and I'd like to. The one thing, I guess, my goal here is that this would be the place that when I leave here, it's where I've been the longest.
Sure.
So I got a few more years to make that happen, but that's kind of my goal.
Oh, I got to say this though: 25 years as a coach, you're not thinking of stepping away anytime soon, right?
I can't. I got a ways to go for.
Got to pay for that swimming pool.
Unfortunately, that's what happens when you jump state to state. You mess up your retirement.
You know what though? But I got to say this: when you first transferred here 4 years ago, you were at Maryland with Maryland Terrapins in that program. Big school, obviously. Used to be in the ACC, and you know. Even though you wasn't a coach, you worked into the realm of the college program. But I remember you telling me I wanted to come back. My heart is a high school football coach. This is what I want to do.
Well, I said all along, I learned a lot in that job.
Sure.
You know, I learned a lot when I was in college football. I learned a lot about some things not to do. I learned some things to do. But I always say the one thing I learned the most was that I belong in a high school.
Sure.
I belong in a high school. I belong with kids, high school age that you can continue to mold and develop, and being a part of a small town community. And I'll say this, I talked about the other places I've been and things. This is the best job I've ever had.
Yeah.
As far as being at a place in a school in a town that completely understands the value of football and what it does for your school, what it does for your town, and a place that allows me to be a football coach.
Right.
And I think we've Miss Hubbard and I have this great partnership of she allows me to be a football coach, and I do the things that she asks me to do to help this school through our football program.
Sure.
As long as we give each other and we do those things, hopefully both of us will be here for a while.
Yeah, Melissa Hubbard, obviously the principal for Clayton, obviously John Asbussen, Joe Mott, the athletic directors, Brian Hale with the boosters. I mean, it just takes everybody working together. Another name I got to mention, Shantae Woodard. She really stepped up last year in what she did, helping out with the Comets boosters and helping out with concessions and, doing all sorts of things. And as I say that, with the media, to the coaching staff, to the boosters, to the upper echelons of administration on the principal side, we all work together, and I think that's why it's just such a well-oiled machine. You come in, you do what you do. We come in as the voice of the Comets with CRN here at home, on the road. There's a following. There's a respect there. People love us for what we do. We've took it to other levels. I mean, I got to tell you, Coach, state championship last year against Grimsley and Rollsville. I don't know if anybody told you or not, but I had that Comets T-shirt on under my CRN polo calling the state championship. And I was thinking the first time I got up in the Woody Durham, Lenovo Radio Network booth for the Tar Heels, I said, I wish Clayton could play here. I wish Clayton could get to the state championship again.
That's our goal, is to get there. And, I've told the guys all preseason and the off season that there's really no excuses. Now that you've got the 8 classifications.
Yeah.
A lot of those teams that maybe, in the past, hey, we're going to have to play really, really well to get past those. They're an 8A. We dealt with Grimsley my first year here. We obviously would have had to deal with Rollsville at some point.
Wake Forest.
Those guys are all in 8A now.
Yeah.
It has definitely, shrunk the pool of teams that we have to beat to get to that level. The playoff system is set up, I think, more in our favor now than it's obviously been the last couple of years. So we don't have any excuses. And, but again, I think one thing we've done over the years since I've been here is just we don't look ahead. We take things 1 week at a time. And for us right now, we're trying to use these last couple of weeks of summer to become the best we can be and be the best version of ourselves on August 22nd.
Yeah, go out there, get it done, obviously, for sure. And again, the season starts next Friday. Wilson Preparatory right here. It will be live on the Community Radio Network as well as on Fan Huddle. There's so many outlets. And then, of course, Comets Football Weekly at Vincent's Pub and Eatery. I'm sure we're going to have the after party. That was a big hit. Keeping Vincent's open on a Friday night after football and people staying until midnight, hanging out, watching football Friday, watching the highlights, and obviously talking with the coach and the players and the family. It's just amazing how that's all grown to become a part of the season of football.
It's a fun way to celebrate the wins and a fun way to spend the Friday nights. For me, it's it's the part I look forward to. I don't know how much I look forward to the games, and I get too stressed out during the day, so the post-game parties are kind of my big relief.
I've definitely realized that on game day, Friday morning, try not to bother you. Let's talk after the games, right?
I'm glad it's taken you 4 years to figure it out.
Well, I think it was probably year number 2 when I finally just didn't even, because I used to say, hey, coach, get up, it's game day. Or, I find myself lately watching football movies. I watched Radio yesterday. I watched Varsity Blues. I watched Friday Night Lights because I love football. I love the sport. That gets me hyped up, and I'm sure, what do you do to get ready for football season? I mean, I know it's a year-round deal, but is there anything to get you psyched up for the game?
I mean, I'm more of I like to watch. I mean, the movies are good, but I like to watch actual
game film
stuff. Okay. It's real. Like I've been watching there's a series called Saturdays in the South. It's kind of the history of the SEC.
Oh, Jackie's been watching it. Yeah.
I mean, I've been watching that, and
who is your SEC team, by the way? Is it Alabama? Roll Tide?
Doesn't matter. Wherever I have a kid playing. So wherever I have a kid playing, that's where I'll watch.
But it's cool though to watch those documentaries and see the stories and to see where they develop.
And I think I love the history of football.
Yes, sir. And definitely.
So I enjoy watching that stuff.
I got one more question to ask you, and then we'll wrap it up here for the Comets football 2025 preview show with head coach Scott Chadwick. His 25th year, by the way. Friday Night Lights begins August the 22nd here at Clayton. I noticed in the scrimmage at the Jamboree something that Coach Gary Fowler used to do. I see that you instill it as well. They're wearing those white helmets. They ain't got the C yet. What is it going to take for them to be able to put the C on those helmets? What does that mean to be able to put that on the helmets? The
we need Rydell to deliver them. Yeah, we don't have them. We don't have them.
So much for that last question. Yeah. No, but I was going to say that was back in the day, Coach Gary Fowler did not give the C. You had to earn the C. So I didn't know if you kind of follow that same criteria.
No, I mean I think that's that's a great thing to do, and I think we've tried to go back and do some of the things they've done in the past, and I think that's an important part of our program is the fact that we have guys on our staff who played here, who went to school here, Darren Banks, Romeo Stancil, Byron Smith, Ricky Buckland, those guys all played here. And we have guys like Coach Walker and Coach Bland whose sons played here. And now, Bennett Jones, Bennett's a huge part of our staff now. Obviously, he's got a pretty good history here.
Principal Dr. Coach.
Yeah, exactly. Principal Dr. Coach, Coach Jones. So I think that's such an important part of our program is those links to the past. And,
sure.
So I'm very – it's a very big part of what we do, having guys that – are part of the history of the program.
Well, our CRN mascot, Chance Wayne, is barking at us, telling us to wrap it up. So, Coach, thank you so much, sir. We're looking forward to another season, obviously, covering it on CRN. 25 years. We got an amazing crew lined up. Some of our familiar voices will be back. And then, of course, we have some new people that want to step up and learn broadcasting and learn the Comets tradition. Obviously, it all starts here at Friday night. Next Friday night, Wilson Preparatory. It's going to be a fun year. Get your tickets, get your booster passes, get ready to come out for a fun season. 2025, the 25th year for this coach, for Clayton's Coach Scott Chadwick and Friday Night Lights. Thanks again for joining us from Nixon Fowler Stadium. For everybody at the Community Radio Network, as always, follow us at wearecrn.com and CRN Sports on social media. And, of course, Clayton Comets Athletics, Clayton Football. Coach, thanks for your time, man. I know you're a busy guy like I am.
No, love it.
We love it. And don't forget, next Tuesday night, Vincent's Pub and Eatery for the 3rd season of Comets Football Weekly with the coach, myself, everybody, ready to join you in Vincent's in downtown. Thank you for checking out the Comets Football Preview Show from Clayton at Nixon Fowler Stadium. Good night. God bless. And as always, go Comets. good? You like the idea of the way I can lower it?
That was really good.
The booster jacks that they gave me. That's what